Well, it worked. Welcome back to Made Up of Wires. It's been a while. It's been about a week since I was here last, and now I'm back. We're decompiling Castlevania Symphony of the Night. As always, I have a bit of a cold that I'm getting over, so the brain fog is real. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hey, Dig Down Deep, good to have you back. I having a lot of trouble thinking, so we'll see. When I went on a little vacation with my family, and it was good. One of my extended family members brought a cold with them, and I got it late last week, and now my daughter has it, and we'll see who else gets it. It's just gonna, right, one by one, we're all gonna fall. So we've been decompiling Doppleganger 10 and 40. I left about a little over a week ago. There was a funny thing where the function matched in decomp.me, but not in my workspace. And the assignment order was off between several fields that looked like they were being assigned kind of in line, one after another. And I found the change, and I think the change was made maybe an error. I might spend some time trying to confirm that, but with my current head state, maybe not. But what had happened was two fields. So one of the structures has RGB values. I think it has 4 sets of them. And what is it called? Player draw? Let's go look at it. This isn't building right now. For another reason, we'll fix that too. Yeah, player draw. So player draw was updated to not be RGB order, but be RBG order. What I want to look for is, first of all, I haven't looked at this yet. I was able to fix this locally. I didn't fix it in decomp.me, so my context is wrong in decomp.me. I will have to generate a new context. There's other things that I need anyway, so it's probably a good time to do that. What I'd like to see is a lot of times that these custom structs that we have for different things are often kind of unioned with things that are in the PlayStation SDK. So first I want to look for structs that are size 28 in the PlayStation SDK and see if there's something that might align with this and have colors in approximately the same order, like primitive, for example, or polyGT4. If that exists, then I'm more confident that this change was made. I think that this change was made because of one section of code, and that I'm guessing that that section of code is wrong rather than the structure being wrong. But let's take a look and see. PolyGT3. So yeah, this is almost certainly a PolyGT3. Let's put these side by side and see if that's the case. And maybe it's not. It's not. Okay, so I'm wrong. That's okay. I can be wrong. Let's look at some of these. So some of the colors definitely are aligned. but others aren't. So let's look at this other struct in kernel.h. We can look at polygt4 as well. Let's do that while we're here. Yeah, so probably GT4 has RGB starting right away as well. Nothing really with Rex at the beginning. Let's look at, I want to look at one other thing quickly. If in GT3 code lookup table texture page. Okay, so these are different. Okay, so that's not quite the same. Let's look at kernel. Look for what is size 28 there. No, that's way too different. So that's not that's a directory entry. Not the same. Okay, so that's not the same. I want to see what change it's going to take me a while this morning. What other things changed, and how often was like G0 needed to be modified, and does it make sense? So here, the order is changed to be incorrect. So that, to me, that's evidence that this is not something that should have been done. Let's find another. So here, the colors do show up in the correct order. This is render entities for PSP. So it's a PSP specific change. And basically it's, oh, this is interesting. It's taking these values and assigning them to the PSP polygon. And which poly is this? So it's a poly GT4. This is PSP specific as well. So it's unlikely, but possible that these are misnamed there. We're just looking at the PL draw. So basically, we're flipping the green and blue every time we're accessing PL draw. Here the order is fixed when we put them in the wrong order. So, is it possible that there were two different versions of this struct? And some code is compiled against one and some code is compiled against the other? I don't know. Now I'm more confused. Anytime I see RBG, though, so some of these it fixes and some of it doesn't. I wonder, though, how much of this is, if we really looked at it, how much of it is just PSP code that's being fixed. I'm not sure. I'll have to investigate further. There are things that are broken to get to get the correct errors, I'm going to have to touch. What happened here was that another struct field was renamed, and so I'll have to get the new name, and that should be enough to get this building again. So in the entity struct, there used to be a field called rotation Z. It was near rotation pivot. And my guess is it's this rotate. So let's do a get blame on that. What should we do? Get diff from when? Let's do a get log. On game.h. Yes, so interesting. So this is just called rotate now. Easy to fix. So let's look for all the dot rot z's. I'm going to do these manually. I could do a find and replace, but I don't know what else is going to change. It's probably not that big of a deal. These are kind of an odd rotation value. So hex 1000 is 360 degrees, so it's not quite evenly split. All right, and then we have the same thing in RBO5. I grabbed RBO5 already. I need RBO4. Hey, roaming. Good to see you again. Everything's blurry. Hex 10,000 is 360 degrees. That's interesting. It is kind of curious. So is there a... Oh yeah, that makes sense. So I'm assuming 32-bit values, and maybe they're using a fixed 16-16 split. Am I reading that right? There's only 4 zeros, right? Sorry. seeing a lot more zeros than just 4. The zeros just keep going. Okay. Got it. Yeah, that makes more sense than using what? 12 bits for rotation? Oh, the 12 bits makes... Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense, because that's... I'm done. That's the PlayStation fixed width for excuse me, fractions. So in the fixed format, duh, I should have caught that. Blame it on the cold. In the PlayStation fixed format, hex 1000 will be 1. So that makes sense. All right, so let's see if this works. And it does. Good. So we're merged back up to date. And we probably can find what is next. So I think I will just do a find. And it was the FBO. Was it FBO that was just done? If you're just tuning in, I came in with a cold, so not all there. More so than normal. So FBO 5FB0 is not done yet. Let's check the dupes report. It's looking in non-matchings. Romy asks, what's the find for? The non-matchings directory is going to have all of the assembly or functions that haven't been written. Yeah, they would be in include ASM. I could do the include ASM thing, but this gives me the path to the assembly, which is a little easier. I want to see if this one is a dupe. So yeah, there's something funny going on with that player draw. I'm still not convinced that it's not an RGB order and that something else isn't going on. I don't know that the dupes report is working. Oh, it is working. Great. This is not a dupe, so this is a unique VO4 function. So let's look at that. I didn't realize that there were still uniques here. So a small jump table. This may be something that is more or less related to. Oh no, I'm forgetting NO1. Is that where Doppleganger is? BO4 is in NO1 outer wall. GAPI func primitive buffer. So I did want to regenerate a context. We're going to use, I think, the Doppleganger.h. Let me look at both of those first. So the context, we have a makefile target that will run CPP, the C preprocessor, given a starting point. And so I think come on, you can do it. Yeah. I think I'm fine with this, and I'll take the BO4 version from PSP, and that'll be fine. Yeah, I think this is okay. So there's only one issue with this. So I'm going to try to remember this. I start with the source. It's going to be bo4.h, and then it's the context target. And then that generates context.c, which will have everything that's necessary for the context. Unfortunately, we have some things in here that are not just macros, but are full functions. Maybe is it possible that got removed? Yeah, maybe those got removed. There used to be functions in here that would screw up all kinds of stuff. But I think this is okay. I haven't gone back through and looked at this recently. Nor have I regenerated this recently. Usually there's some post-processing work that needs to be done. But oh, I know why I don't have any functions. Okay, so I do want to get rid of some things though. There are lines that start with a semicolon and that's all they have on them. So let's see. Should be able to do that with D, right? Let's try this. I always forget the syntax for deleting lines with a search. like that. No. Okay, I'll just select them all. These are the only ones. So there's some macros that get expanded here for asserting that different structs are the correct size. So I'm gonna copy that somehow. And then we'll start a new scratch. It's been a while. Excuse me. Any dig down deep roaming? Any of you pick up a Switch 2? I was not able to get one on pre-order, but I did get one. Hey, HP Gravity Well, good to have you back. I was able to get one. I paste in this. Is this my new context? I don't remember. It is not. Okay, so I'm gonna do that again. Yeah, I was mostly worried that, like, all the tariff garbage that's going on, that they would be more expensive in the future, and it's already kind of unreasonable for what it is. We need another Overwatch machine though, so unfortunately Blizzard has not released a Overwatch patch yet. So I did end up getting one just through like the normal sales, and it so far it's fine. I got Mario Kart World, have not even touched it. Played Metal Slug Tactics and Night Trap. That's what I've done on my Switch 2 so far. So we need to go fix some things. Fixing the signature, kind of going through all the stuff that I need to remind myself how to do, because it's been like, yeah, Metal Slug is great. Tactics is interesting. I'm really bad at tactics games, and there's a little restriction that's both interesting as well as challenging. So in Metal Slug Tactics, you have to use your move for a character before you use your attack. And once I figured that out, things got a little bit easier, because basically my current strategy is to put most of my units in place and then attack. And when you are attacking with a unit and another one of your other characters also has that enemy in range, they'll synchronize attack, and so that's kind of how you progress is by getting your syncs up. And so realizing that I needed to put everybody in place before getting my attacks. I'm so bad about thinking ahead, like multiple steps. Can't do it. Anyway, I'm gonna go find this Rot Average 4. It's an okay game. I was sold on it being a pixel art Metal Slug game and looking interesting. Some positive reviews from people who are probably just too positive about things in general. I'd say it's kind of a B- game. It's not my style necessarily. Oh, where's my declaration for Rot Average 4? It's not in include. And it's not in source. Is everybody just using this naked? Undeclared? This, I'm reasonably certain this is a SDK function. I'm going to go to the SDK and find this. Why won't we have it in... Where else would this be? I'm going to look in the SciQ repo as well. Yeah, this is definitely in... So it should be in libgte.h. And why is it not? Is it because I can't spell? No. We really just don't have it. Okay. I should add this to... This happens a bit. We don't have... we're not using the actual header files. I don't think there's any legal reason to not use the actual header files. I'm pretty sure that there's precedent for header files not being copyrightable since they're required for integration. There might be like comments and stuff in there that you might not be able to use, but like function declarations are just facts, which can't be copyrighted. Did I grab 4? I think I don't remember. This is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not your lawyer. I'm going to move this up above stuff in the context. So I'm going to... oh, I'm not even signed in. How sad. Well, this is interesting. Why did all of these... I see. I don't know if I've seen this output before. So we have entity definition that it looks like doesn't exist yet. There's something at OC that we're going to need. Hey, Nate, good to have you back. Beer sounds great, except for my head being full of cotton. If anybody knows about that, you might be the guy. Awesome, awesome. All right, so I think I'm going to take this. So we have an unknown C in the entity table that we'll have to figure out. The GL player demo timer, that's obviously a struct field. We know that. So we really only have these 3 left to figure out. We'll figure that out. It is a little gross, but not terrible. I am going to change this to a ++, but I should actually go through and figure out what's missing first. Yeah, we're going to get rid of this as well. We've seen this before, saved reg S0. That means var S0 or register S0, there's going to be code paths that access register S0 where it's possible that it wasn't initialized to a known value. And that's probably okay. Let's see where these guys are being used and if we could tell. So this is probably a signed 16 array. I think it's either a signed 16 array or 2 8-bit values. We can see what temp v1 is. Yeah, maybe unsigned 16 array. So I think that's fine. We'll add that. I don't know for sure if it's unsigned or signed. We'll figure it out. So we're taking a reference here, adding again +2, temp v0 is also sine, so we're going to assume that is sine 16 array as well, and we could go check any of these. Nate, is it getting hot in Texas? This is some kind of struct with at least 2 fields. So we have a VZ here. Let's try 0.32. I don't know if this is right, but I think we have a 0.32 structure. We'll try that. And let's decompile again and see if that gets us any closer. Still definitely have structs that are missing, or some entity extension that's missing. But hopefully we're a little closer. Gotta get rid of that saved reg, and that's why I don't edit code before it compiles, because I'm just gonna undo this. This is interesting. On a line, sign 32. The address is 4-byte aligned, so I'm not sure why. So we know some things. We won't deal with these warnings now. We know some things about some of these arguments that it looks like M2C wasn't able to figure out, and I think that's fine. Let's look at these struct issues. 53. Here, let's just take in the context that's Visual Studio Code, yeah. A lot of people very much like Visual Studio Code. I have liked Visual Studio in the past, and Visual Studio Code is kind of a light version of that. This is interesting for SP80. So this is going to be BX. Oh, this actually is probably a point, not a point. It's probably also an S vector. This is an S vector array. I was wrong about this. My biggest issue with it, and I mean, it's a very pedantic argument. There's actually a line here that's not present because it's doing a 32-bit copy. Maybe this isn't an array then. The only issue I haven't used it significantly, but it is a, oh, what do they call those? Like Discord. The apps that are really just like web browsers. And so it's a, click the wrong button. It's a relatively expensive, oh good, it didn't work. It's a relatively expensive app to run. I'm gonna take this opportunity to sign in. Can I do this without breaking things? There we go. No, of course it's going to break things. Oh, maybe not. What do they call that? Those browser wrapper apps. Sorry, I have a cold. Can't think. I keep thinking of Unity. It's not Unity, obviously. Oh. Yeah, it's a web app, but it's there's a framework for wrapping web apps. And yes, Electron. Thank you, Electron. I despise Electron. Despise it. With the fire of 1,000 suns. I feel like Electron is like the worst of programmer ethos of hubris and yeah, and I use the Discord desktop app. Let's look at it. So Discord, you're displaying at most one server channel at a time, right? And of that, you're displaying maybe 15 messages. Maybe. How much memory is Discord taking? Actually, it's not that bad. It's a little worse than I thought. So there's 3 processes. Nope, 4 processes. 5, 6, 7. So it's running 7 processes. Not terrible. A gig of memory total for all of those processes. Is that necessary? Gig? Or like... yeah. Being old is hard. Back in my day. Because you think of things like running computers with 1 to 4 megabytes of memory and running AOL on those computers and chat rooms and AOL in 1 to 4 megs of memory, or IRC or whatever you want. And do they have animated GIFs and all the nice formatting? No, not quite, but did they do basically the same thing? Sure. And so I'd be willing to give up dozens of megabytes for the upgraded features, but gigs, that's ridiculous. And that's one of the reasons I don't use Visual Studio Code either. Like table stakes is a gig of memory, and then you need to open a file. It's a little too rich for my blood. All right, so we have this VARS1, we're exiting a bunch of fields that look like they are not known. It thinks that this is a primitive, and it probably is, but something is going on that we can't just use that primitive field. I'm going to go look. Always my own opinions, my own pet peeves. If the tools work for you, I use obscure tools. I don't expect anybody to use the tools that I use. Mostly I just don't want people to get in the way of the tools that I want to use. So basically these are RGB assignments that are being optimized into 32-bit copies instead of 4 1-byte copies. So this is just an optimization. It's kind of a fun thing to see, but not something that it's a little weird though, because while it may or may not be a 32-bit assignment, there's actually only 24 bits of color. But I think that's what's happening. All right, so this is going to be R1. So if it was truly a 32-bit copy, though, it'd be getting the type here as well. I don't think it is. We'll try this first and see. Oh, it's getting it from R0. And basically this is, these three are the same. Nope, this 3. I get very tunnel visiony when I'm sick, so if there's things that I miss, let me know. Same thing down here, but for var S0. There could be a 4th assignment down here. This could be type. Oh, and yeah, this wouldn't matter, and that's why I can do this. No, this is gonna be P1. Not sure that that's happening. We'll figure that out in a little bit. I'm gonna copy these if those instructions are missing or are not generating the same. We can fix that. So these are all going to be var S0. Eventually, these will probably all turn into a prim variable. Keyboarding. I've used a keyboard before. I was, for reasons that I don't recall how I fell into it, I was looking at Neo's keyboard from the Matrix. And interestingly, Neo uses a Microsoft Natural, I think the first Microsoft Natural keyboard. And it's a okay keyboard. But then at work, he uses a IBM Model M. And I think I mentioned before, those were made by the best keyboard. Those are made by Unicomp, and you can still get a Unicomp branded one. You can't get an IBM branded one anymore. You can get modern IBM Unicomps, which is cool. I know, it's the same thing. They were made by Unicomp. It's all the same tooling. You're getting the same thing. It just doesn't have the badge. Oh yeah, look at that. It's even a Mac one. I don't know if it's also focused, but it's Unicomp. Ooh, it's something inside of it rattling around. That's not good. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Well, that's good. That's really good. Oh, that feels so good. About a year ago, and it's so hard to find. I did a Google search for it. So I was watching this. I love the first 45 minutes of The Matrix. That's I turn it off after that. Like, first 45 minutes, it's kind of a nice philosophical sci-fi, and everybody kind of has to work to get where they are. I like that a lot. Let's fix this last error there. So I watch the first 45 minutes and then I turn it off usually. But yeah, the keyboard struck me. I think this would have been hard to find. I found a Unicomp built AT, or is it XT? Never remember. It might be XT. Split ergonomic buckling spring keyboard. And I'm pretty sure it's Unicomp built, but it was distributed by somebody else. So I found this at a thrift store in the box. Now I can't find an image of it. It's split like the Microsoft Natural was, where it's all one big slab. You can't separate it. And yeah, like looking up XT ergonomic buckling spring does not return a search result. I was able to find it by looking at the UPC on it. It was like $5 for an in the box, like brand new buckling spring ergonomic keyboard. The only thing that sucks about it is an XT and doesn't have the extra Windows button on it, which is a bummer. Let me see what it's the, maybe it's not XT then. It's would it be AT? It's not the smaller what do you call it? DIN, not the nice small DIN, it's the thicker fat DIN connector. But it is, I think, electrically compatible with the PS2 connector. So is that AT then? You can't look up anything related to PS2 without getting PlayStation stuff. Keyboard. It is, so it is PS2. Yes. So it must be AT. Yep. Yeah. So it's AT. And what is the current ISO standard 101 key? So it's like, must be 99 then, because it just is missing the 2 keys. Oh no, it is 101. So the current is 103 then? Yeah. Yeah, it's a 101 key. And that sucks. I would use it, I think, as my primary keyboard if it had those extra 2 buttons. And I wonder if there's a way, it would be terrible to like mod that keyboard. It's beautiful. Okay. Anyway, getting back to this, thinking of keyboards too much. That always sends me down a rabbit hole of looking at keyboards, and then all kinds of bad stuff happens. Yeah, so I do AT to PS2 and then PS2 to USB. And so I do use it on a computer that I keep in our network closet. And it's always a pleasure. And that one's it's just terminal only, so I don't need the extra keys. Ooh, RJ45. That's old. My current keyboard, I think I've mentioned this too. I use the Apple Extended 2, and that requires ADB to USB converter. And that ADB converter has a battery in it, and it's sealed. The reason it has a battery is to listen for the power button. And I've had that ADB converter since 2009. It was old then. I had to buy old new stock then. That thing is probably 25 plus years old. And it has a watch cell. When that thing goes, it's recoverable, but it's gonna be a pain. So 244, there's a pointer here. This is, so the pointer is at offset 4, and it's reading field unknown 32. Let's look for unknown 32 fields in let's look here first in primitive draw mode. It's actually not a bad idea. 33 would be T page 2, T page, unknown 2, and transparent. That's possible. Draw mode's being set up above. So that's not the worst. So we'd be saying that this is something with a primitive at offset 80. So we can look for 80 and see if there is anything with a primitive pointer there. Primitives are usually not at offset 80. They're usually at 7C. Let's fix this while we're here. I'm gonna do this. Let's say dot star, and then primitive. Okay, so Dracula has that. This other rando. Venus weed. Okay, let's look at this. We have another case of an unknown entity extension where we are getting which values? Are we ever getting the first value? No. This gives us a pretty good sense, though, of what this structure is, which is nice. So we know offset 8 into that is going to be a byte. Kudos to whoever came up with the illegal struct or union. Super useful. So let's grab all these and then we'll start creating our new entity extension. This seems unique. At least doesn't match anything obvious. Oh, yeah. It's further confirmation that this is a primitive pointer. Basically, I want to get all of the different permutations of accessing this. This looks like an array. I might not be able to get them all first go, but we'll see. And unfortunately, I've done enough work that I don't know that I want to. I think I have all those already. I don't know that I want to start with a new decomp. So I'm going to add this entity extension, then I'll look at the decomp and try to have the fields get populated automatically. We're going to start at 7C. That's offset 0. And This is going to be inside, excuse me, inside 32. We don't know what it is. Nothing is accessing it yet. Then we have at 80 we have a primitive pointer. At not 80, yeah, 80. At 84, we have a byte. And so I'm going to fill out the rest of these as bytes. Did I do that wrong? Yes. Yeah, one too many. Okay, so all right. So then 88 is also a byte. 4 more bytes. It's possible that this padding isn't necessary. And then we have possibly an unsigned 16. We do need C. And then so we'll give it the name of this function. I think that's enough. So that covers offset 12 case, offset C case, the offset 4 case, and the offset 8 case. So we'll go back here, find our entity extension. Could probably just declare this inline in this struct, but I'll make it harder later on. So now let's do this. Doesn't look like it found it. I was hoping it would do this automatically. Unknown C. Seems to want this to be an array, I think. Let's see if it picked up any of these. No. Okay, so it didn't care at all for my struct. So I'm gonna excuse me. I'm gonna try to just do this manually. And I need this. So offset 8 is going to be unknown 84. This is going to be prim. Oh, interesting. This is actually... No, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, right. Let's go to 264 and fix that. Okay, so let's look for the other illegals. That's unknown E. No, it's not. It's much further. I don't know. We'll see. This might be wrong, but we'll figure it out once things get compiling. That is 80. I'm trying to finish a show called Coil, which was recommended to me like many, many years ago. It's about a not too distant future where everybody's wearing AR glasses all the time. And these kids discover these glitches and are kind of exploiting them for their own amusement, which is, it's kind of a fun show. And some of it is it's at least 10 years old, maybe 15 years old. But I think some of it's pretty realistic regarding what might happen if everybody had constant AR on all the time. Hey, 46%. G interactable is going to be an E init. It's something that we can put in the context and save that for later. Anyway, so there's these sentient glitches that start appearing around town, and they're called illegals. And being an anime show, it's all in Japanese except for illegal, and the way that they say illegal is just unique and interesting. When you hear all this Japanese and then you hear illegal. GeoPlayer demo timer. And then we have this one more global. We'll have to figure out what that is. These other ones don't need to be in the context anymore, so I'm going to take them out of the context along with... I had to redecompile, it's fine. I will need those, though, for when I copy this over. So where do I want it? I'll leave them in the context for now. So I think this is a good starting point. We can fix these warnings. though I don't know if that's necessary right away. I think I'll probably go through and fix the go-tos and the switch statements, and we'll get that cleaned up. I think that's probably a better first step. So block 12 is going to be a increment step and return. Let's see if there's code after the switch. There isn't, so the default case can just go away. Don't need that. And then, well, let's look for block 12. And so this will be an else. This else probably is actually inverted, but we need to be careful with that. Let's do it. So temp equals -1. We're going to destroy. See? Self. And then we can move that block up there. That'll be easier to deal with later. And basically this whole second half of that condition goes away. We're still looking for block 12. Oh, there's only one instance of it. Great. That was pretty easy. Block 42 is destroy entity and return. This returns implicitly, so that's fine as well. Can get rid of that one as well. So then we're going to fix all the G APIs. So this function, I believe, but I'm not confident, when I was originally splitting these, it looked like this had to do with the environment and the background, maybe related to the doors. It may or may not be that. It could be something else. We'll see. All right. What else can we fix? We will have to come up with the correct args values for those args, but there's a couple other structural things that I think are worth doing first. The first is probably fixing these prim variables. So I'm going to rename var s1 to prim and kind of do that for all of the prims. I'm guessing basically all of these are the same variable. This will become a while, but I'm going to do this first. Interestingly, there is going to be one more. This var s0 is last prim. It is the last primitive that we find that is not null. What's interesting, though, there is a logic error that assumes that the first primitive is not null. So we have to be careful. I mean, I'm going to write a note. This would not be allowed in current compilers. Well, it would be allowed, but you'd get a warning about it. Oh, and this is actually the var s0 issue that was above, where there is a condition where var s0 is not being set. I'll call it rs0, and then we'll fix it when everything else gets replaced. Okay. So let's go and call rs0. That, that. I'm going to call it last prim. This line basically was telling us that it's being used without being initialized. That's fine. I don't know where this is getting set. I'm going to move it to the top. Probably doesn't matter. But logically and like structurally, that makes more sense to me to set it right away. Okay. So then we have one more prim, which is as far as 1_2. I think that could just be called prim. I don't think we need a separate variable for it. And those we can, that's unique enough that I don't have to worry about anything happening there. All the stack variables, these SP, etc., those are all going to be part of some structure. We'll figure out what that structure is based on the args, probably, to the rotate average. Okay. So looking at this other primitive, we have an outer loop, which probably needs to be fixed. Now, this looks like our I, temp v1_4. We're pulling from some something else. I'm going to fix this first, though. I'm going to try to get the logic or the variables cleaned up, and then I'll go back through and fix that loop. I think that will be helpful. Okay, so basically what's happening is these vectors are each being passed in. And this tells us actually what each of these are. So SP28 way up here, this is a S vector. And so is all of these. They're all part of the same thing. Actually, only these three. Same thing with these three. And same thing with these three. And I don't know about the next one. Probably this one too. These are something else. But all of these are part of an S vector. And then what's happening is when their values are being set, it's each of these individual fields. But the compiler doesn't know that. It just sees different stack offsets. So let's fix that. This is going to be a little tricky, not terrible, but what I'm going to do is make this an S vector and then get rid of, I guess, anytime there's SP28, I'm going to say SP28.ex and get rid of that one. Anytime there's SP2A, it's going to be Vy. And anytime there's 2C, it's going to be VZ. Lowercase c. Come on. Then we can get rid of these. And there's going to be one small issue. We don't have to take the reference to Vx. We just have to take the reference to that var. And so the same thing will have to happen for all of these then. Let's see, can we get rid of this? What is this? What do we need? A long pointer. Yeah, this is kind of funny. What this wants is a 32-bit pointer to XY pairs. It's a gross API, but that's what it wants. It expects two 16-bit values, XY next to each other. So that is correct. All right, so we got to do the same for these others, but then this will start falling out and working as expected. So bear with me as I slowly make this change. SP 50, 54, and 58, I don't know what that is yet. Those are, it could be a vector. It's possible. Looks like SP 88 may be a vector as well. What did I do? Oh, get rid of those two quickly. This reference to Vx is the same as a reference to the struct. There's no difference there. It's just more correct to write it this way. SP30 I didn't do. Okay. I can get rid of this. Not quite. So those are almost done. All right, so R9 and 10, it says are wrong. Let's look at what those should be. P and flag. I like in general, let's find SP88. When possible, I'll give them the right definition. We use the S32, S16 and stuff. Not the hugest fan of those. The reason that they're used is because we need to ensure certain sizes of different variables, which is fine. And you can't, when you're going between 16 and 32-bit platforms, you can't rely on int because that changes, or possibly long as well. However, when the original SDK uses those types, it's nice to use them. They're more verbose, but I also like the int 16t, uint 16t, etc. I prefer to use those types because they're part of standard int and they're portable. These ultimately expand to the same thing, so it's not a huge deal. I still don't know the history behind it. Rust uses this notation for its different size variables, different size integers. Oh, we're slowly getting there. We got about 10% along the way there. Let's see what other things that can be cleaned up. So we'll get rid of some variables. This temp v1 is going to go away. Temp v0 we're going to call prim index. I have to be careful because there are multiple temp v0s, some of them with underscores, and we just want to make sure that we're getting the right one. Right, and so as these get named or given the correct type, I like to separate those out. So we don't know what it is yet. We're it's being clamped to 0. Basically, it's saying if it's negative, make it 0. I'm going to move. I don't think this var 0 is necessary. But we're going to see. I'm going to say if it is less than 0, then it is 0. And make sure that var2 is a signed type. Yes, it is. So I think that's all fine. Interesting that it's getting negated. So it's some y position. Also not clear if... Oh, actually it is clear. I don't think we need the temp v0. v0 is usually an ephemeral variable. So I think we can just say that this is negative var a2 and get rid of this one as well. And we're getting just a little bit closer. I'm going to rename var0 I don't know, not that one. Rename this. I thought it was Y, but it's being used for X as well. So I'm not sure what to rename it. It's just kind of an arbitrary offset. So we have 4 vectors, and this is being used as Y, Z, or X, and Y. So they're kind of pulling on each other in opposite directions for the rotation. Temp S0 up here. What is that? I don't think that is required. Temp S4_2. Oh, maybe it is. Unknown 88. This looks like an array of unsigned 16s. So either this is a pointer to an array, and so I've missed missed what this is. Let's find 137. I haven't really been looking at this at all. Looks like an array of unsigned values. So the position's right. All right, so I do need to go and change that. So unknown 88. How many? Right now we can only fit 2. So I'm going to change to an unsigned 16 array. We'll have 2 of them there, and then we'll see. And line 120. Ooh, but here it's being so maybe it's 0.8. What is? Isn't there a struct that has a 1 byte value? 1 byte XY? I mean, UV pair. Could this be UV pair? I don't think so. Well, let's fix this loop. This may tell us, though, so what is coming out of this loop? We don't know. Okay, so yeah, let's do this loop here. Vars2, as usual, this is our I. We're gonna go back up here. And we will get our for loop set up. Var_v1 our 62C variable, or global, looks like it is an array. And so what we're doing is taking the ith element and we can get rid of RV1 here. And my guess is that these might, I'm gonna try this. I think this should work as well. We can get rid of RS4. So we're coming through and for 8 of these, this must just be a pointer. It can't go that far. I think. So let's look at this over here and see if we're missing anything. I'm going to change the definition of that to a pointer and see if how that changes the generated code. All these entity. So instead of unside 16, we're going to make this an unside 16 pointer. So there is a pointer outside here. So I will need one pointer at least. I'll get back to that in a little bit. So let's fix that as well. Unsigned 16. And it does look like this is getting assigned out here, and then try doing it that way. Yeah, that works. There is a second pointer as well. It's dest. And we'll make another one called source. I should go through and see. Rotate average isn't used very much. I should go see if we can find anything that looks similar to this now. So our instructions are right, register's wrong. That's okay. So I was looking at this. This caught my eye while we were there. There is some of these. We're doing these store bytes instead of store words. Why? And this is what I was talking about before. What seems to be happening, I'm going to try this. This seemed to be being done as 32-bit copies. But when that happens, other things are getting overwritten. So for the R1 case, that ends up being P1, and it gets overwritten by type. So this should turn this into a store word, but it doesn't. So let's do this instead. We know that this will work. And then it will do that overwriting. So load word forces that cast. It casts it as a 32-bit value. And loads it that way. So it does overwrite those fields in the process. It's actually something good probably to look at as well. Does this exist somewhere else? So we are overwriting some additional fields. Those fields are primitive specific. Some weird things here, but I think this is okay. Auto order loads. Oh, let's try to revert that then. No. Okay, so that one pointer doesn't seem necessary. A little surprised about this load being so out of order, but basically I'm gonna have to do the same load word for all of these. I'll just do this. This will be easier to just change this to 2 and 3. All right, 70%. Oh, I'm doing much better. All right, I think that's where I'm gonna leave it today. Oh, we could do this one, 202, same thing. Okay, so how are we doing? 36%, not the worst. I'm gonna go through and look for other uses of rotate average. Because there aren't many. So NO1 is where we are. It's possible that this is happening here. Nope. And let's try the other one. This looks more similar. So this is probably our function. Should have done this first. Always check before you get started. This looks very familiar. So we do have actually looks like Alchar did this. So let's try this. Let's see if we can use this function and see how close it is. It's nice to do things from scratch, but if somebody else has done the work, it's nice as well. Okay, so there are differences immediately that I see. This is not going to be the same, but it might be similar. So let's take this. I'm going to guess at some of these. I don't think these are correct, but we'll see how close it gets. 84%. So this is actually pretty good. It's missing a bottom section that we basically have. I'm going to fork this actually the way that it is. And we'll save this 84% version. I'm going to go back to the previous one that should be at 76. I'm going to grab this last case, which wasn't in the forked version. In the, close that, in the family, should be able to come back here, add my missing case. The break there. Nope, not in the right place. %. So this is actually pretty good. There is some logic missing. I'm gonna save this one. I do need to fix. Well, it looks like RO data is slightly off. Everything else, though, is matching really well. Really, I'm only missing this code after destroy entity here. So let's go figure out what that was. We might be able to just pull the bottom section of this. Yeah, look at that. It's all there. It is all there. This just has to do with download timer. Okay, so this ended up being a pretty good way to go about this. I'm going to replace these variables, and we may or may not know the type of these. But what's nice is so I thought that was a sign 16. We'll deal with the types later. I'm going to go with the one that's there. If we have to change that, that's fine. GAPI is fine. Nope, I want this one. This one. And I need to get this to most likely get it to an even number. So the things that are not quite right are offsets into RO data are wrong because this is not being initialized. Because actually I think that's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that. As long as the delta between these two stays the same, I think that's okay. Okay, so the other thing that we have to figure out is what's going on, and that's this sound effect. Sound effect has changed and is now this 7CB. And I think that's it. So let's give it a shot. RO data looks like it might be off, and that might be okay. We'll see. I'm glad to have found that. So let's grab this. It's 5FB0. And we'll see if it plays. I wonder why so much is being rebuilt. Oh, because I changed. Good job, Ninja. I changed the header file that basically required everything to be rebuilt, which is good. That's the way it should be. Okay, not quite right. Oof. My guess is because of RO data. So we have to figure out where that RO data is. So we have doors. Let's look at so it's 34174. There's RO data that is at 168. So we need to figure out where that's being brought in. It's being brought in right here. There we go. It works. Awesome. So another one down. I am going to take this rotational average. I'm going to put it in GTE4. Probably doesn't need to be there to build, but it would be nice to have. So let's do Base Station SDK, lib PTE. And we have the other. Yeah, we do. So we'll add this right around rotate average, but right here. And this will get cleaned up if it needs to be by Clang format, so I'm not going to worry about the formatting. But that will be nice. Sure that all still works. Great. Wonderful. That's it. We did it. We got another function done. Let's go back here. How many left? 9 left in Doppleganger 10. 11 left in Doppleganger 40. These were not related. This function will not be, as far as I know. Yes, this function will not be in Doppleganger 40. It does look like there may be maybe a similar doors function. I think all the doors functions, though, are related to like the N01 stuff around it. It may be reasonable to make like a stage file that specifically maps back to the stage in which those boss fights take place. But that's it for today. We've been decompiling Castlevania Symphony of the Night, working on Doppleganger 10 and 40. I don't think anything's been done. Oh, maybe something has been done while I've been gone. Maybe not. Yeah, we're plugging away at those. We'll keep going. Getting pretty close, though, to the end. A few things that I was interested in doing. I did start writing a basic, like, decompiling 101 type lesson. I was going to start with binary representation, because I think that is somewhat fundamental. It's relatively language agnostic, but necessary to know before you can really get into decompiling things. So I was going to go over how numbers are represented, how strings, structs, things like that are represented in binary, hex, and things like that. Just a basic overview of data in computers, and then how that relates to decompiling. If that sounds interesting, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. I'll probably be feeling a little bit better. I'm glad, even though my head is full of cotton, that was able to get through that one today. But yeah, see you all tomorrow. Good to be back. Thanks, everybody.